When you think of a farm, you think of the goods it produces. You think of the heartland and its contribution to the food supply. Things like corn, beef, and soy have become staples of the agricultural economy. But lately, another product is on the rise. "36 wind turbines dominate this Midwestern landscape. It's a completely clean, renewable source of energy, capable of producing dozens of megawatts of energy per year. They aren't solely found in the US. In fact, turbines are being constructed all across the world. With the nation's economy on the decline and its dependence on foreign oil identified as a major cause by many, interest in clean and renewable wind energy is rising every day.
Good evening from Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Tom Brokaw of NBC News, and welcome to this second presidential debate sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. It is my privilege to introduce the candidates, Senator Barack Obama of Illinois and Senator John McCain of Arizona. Gentlemen.
As Election Day drew closer in the fall of 2008, candidates began to focus more and more on their stance on renewable energy.
Energy we have to deal with today because you're paying $3.80 here in Nashville for gasoline, and it could go up. And it's a strain on your family budget, but it's also bad for our national security because countries like Russia and Venezuela and, in some cases, countries like Iran are benefiting from higher oil prices. So we've got to deal with that right away.
Obama has talked about wind energy from day one, saying that the U.S. needed to get moving towards renewable energy.
The possibilities of renewable energy are limitless, but to truly harness its potential, we urgently need real leadership from Washington, leadership that's been missing for decades.
I want to talk to you about a huge problem that this country has.
One of the biggest movers in the push for wind energy is oil tycoon Boone Pickens. His website, PickensPlan.com, promotes the advancement of alternative energy in the interest of relinquishing the hold that foreign oil has on our economy.
Let me show you a map. When you look at it, the red is the better wind. And you can see here in the United States, compared to the rest of the world, for land size and everything, we're the best. We have more wind than anybody else does.
Pickens' plan would require serious action to be taken all throughout the Midwest. Wind farms would need to be put in place strategically to capitalize on the enormous wind potential the Midwest has.
If you look at the wind study that was done in April of 2007, a very good study, very similar to the study we did, it has the wind corridor is from Texas right across Nebraska to Canada. Now, we need to, and we got to have 200,000 megawatts of power added to the 987,000 megawatts that we now have in the next 10 years. That 20% should come from the wind corridor. But we have to have from Congress, they have to open up the corridors to the east and to the west to transmit that power out of the wind corridor.
Pickens works daily to get wind energy established in the Midwest. But the real battle is fought at the slow, tedious pace that is the American political process.
I came in as a legislator 2 years ago. I campaigned on what renewable energy could do for the economy of the state, and so I've just always had a keen interest in renewable energy in general, and it always comes down to money, and where do we find the money? We all seem to think it's just as easy as putting up a turbine and away we go, and there are so many of these underlying issues that the general public doesn't understand. And I introduced several other bills last year that dealt with cellulosic ethanol, And those didn't go anywhere either, but down here in the legislature, it's a process, and it's an educational process, and we need a plan. As a state, we need a comprehensive energy plan. We want wind energy in the state. What is it that we have to do?
Yeah, it's peaceful and everybody's friendly. Everybody knows everybody. A little slower lifestyle. And Omaha is nice to visit, but to me, the whole area is a good place to be from.
Ainsworth, Nebraska. A town of about 1,700 people, 31.9 miles south of South Dakota. It's charming. People wave when you drive by and look you in the eye when they talk to you. It's a good ways away from the bustling, traffic-filled city life so many of us know so well. But in many ways, Ainsworth looks a lot like the future of the United States.
Well, we heard about this thing for a number of years before it became reality, and in my personal opinion, it was an interesting deal to have an economic impact to our community, which it had a very good economic impact.
They were pretty excited about it, and a lot of questions, because you start bringing in industry that big, we aren't used to that. That's neat to see.
It's been interesting. I think it's not only from the town's point of view, but as far as attracting tourists and just the local involvement and stuff, it's been very interesting, I'd say. Well, being a banker, I guess I thought about the jobs and the economic impact probably was the first thing. And, that goes from, the helping the local businesses out to whether they were going to buy their supplies, that kind of stuff here in town. Also the tourists that it would bring, and it has done all of those.
Planning on the Ainsworth Wind Farm began in November of 2004. The area has a very high wind capacity. Wind speeds average 19 miles per hour, making it a good target for wind farm development. But Ainsworth's success was mostly due to the town's openness to the idea of wind energy development and its cooperation in making wind energy a possibility.
We've had a period of a lot of growth around here, and with the retail and the Main Street and ag, and so when that came in, we were kind of on a positive roll to start with, so it was good to see them come in just to support a good backbone, so it's been very positive for the community.
Some of the obstacles that face wind energy's development are the complaints that are being heard by many who live close to the turbines. Some people dislike the sight of the turbines or the noise they make.
There's been a couple of people who complained about it, but I'll be real honest with you. The whirring sound that they make, not any worse than traffic up and down the highway. It's expensive energy, I understand that, but wind is here to stay. Someday we'll run out of coal and oil. And I think, the more people become aware of what wind energy is, I think the more positive it is to everybody.
Turn the light out, say goodnight. No thinking for a little while. Listen and try to figure out everything at once. It's hard to keep track of you falling through the sky with half a wind in a fake empire.
Wind energy is here. It's arrived. The battle that people like Boone Pickens all the way down to Senator Dubas fight will dictate just what role it will have in our country over the next few decades. As state governments around the country work daily to promote wind energy and other energy solutions, they'll need to look to places like Ainsworth to model for the future.